Hello and welcome to episode number 6 of the Get Peak podcast. It's pretty crazy how time has flown by and we're on episode 6 and I don't know about you, Pete, but I'm having a pretty good time doing it and pretty excited for some of the guests we're gonna have on. But today we're just gonna hash it out and maybe talk about some past episodes and what's been going on in our games and kind of some lead in with the open and just some other, high performance things. So I'm pretty excited.
Yeah, me too. I'm loving this. This is so fun. I think
Yeah.
last episode was great with Leo,
Yeah,
and
Leo was fun.
yeah, we talked about some cool things.
Maybe
Um,
some even new things. I think we should just get it out there while we're talking about it. But we um we got done with the podcast and we stayed on and we just hashed it out with Leo for a little bit. And it was kind of good because we just, you know, we want to make this as authentic as we can and we were just we were just having conversation, right? And uh we went a little bit more in depth into some of the stuff we were talking about, and we're like, "Dang, we probably should have videoed that and gotten that out there as well." So I think what we might do is, throw in. Um, came up with some cool ideas called we'll call it the chiller, where you get done and you're just hanging around and talking golf, and we'll probably video it and then we'll just chop it up, all the good stuff, and send it out there. And I think that would be a cool, like, behind the scenes thing.
yeah, it's like when we're doing the actual podcast. I think at least for me, like now I'm a little bit more comfortable, but like for the guests, it's probably the same as our first episode or the second episode. They're like pretty maybe nervous or something, and then we got done, and even Leo was like, like a little bit exhausted from focusing on the podcast, and then he started talking about just some random stuff, and then we came back to golf again, and it was like very
Relax.
relaxed, very
Mhm.
yeah, it was good. So
So, but
I'm
I also
excited.
think, like, these kind of podcasts are necessary, like, the introductory stuff, like, you need some sort of, I guess, structure and questions to get to know the person for guests that don't know Leo and what he's been doing and just the basic stuff of, "I caddied for this guy, it was going like this," and whatnot. So
Yeah,
yeah, maybe we'll integrate a little bit of the chiller later
chiller
here on.
episodes.
The
Yeah,
chiller. Yeah. Like, you reach the peak and you're just chilling.
or we could
Um,
call it the descent. You know?
the descent. Okay. I like that. Alright. Well, for everyone listening, we need a couple ideas, so send in
Yeah,
some.
leave some
Yeah,
comments.
leave some comments.
All right, but
Oh,
anyways, let's get into it. You just played a tournament. We talked about it on the I don't know if it was the Leo episode or the one before where it was just me and you, but we were getting ready for the qualifier for the national championship, and it just happened. I think it was the day of the Leo episode, right?
it was, correct,
Actually,
yeah.
yeah.
That was the first day. It was 2-day event on Thursday and Friday last week, and, um I won, which is that felt good, and
Wait, hold on,
game was feeling
hold on.
pretty
Wait.
good going into it, and then, like, oh,
Sorry, I had to do it. It took a little bit of time,
yeah.
but I had
No, no, I like
to.
it. Yeah, thanks. Thanks for the applause. I gotta tip my cap, you know? Um, no, so it was pretty gratifying because I knew what it meant for kind of me and my career, especially with some of the stuff I have going on right now. I'm looking for some teaching jobs for the winter and um really good for the resume just in regards of, like, showing that I can play at a professional level. So, and then there was some other stuff going on. Like I had worked really hard to get my bookwork done, my PGA work bookwork, just in time for this tournament to be eligible, and got that done. And then Leo texts me saying, "Hey, there might be an opportunity to caddy on the PGA Tour that week." And I said, "Hey, look, I got a tournament. I can't do it." And I don't know. It kind of built up the pressure of what this was, because then I could have gone in there and played poorly and been like, well, I missed out on all these opportunities, or I worked so hard for this and now I'm stuck with nothing, right? So it was already building up that kind of pressure, and I had a really good feel of where my golf swing was at leading into that, and I was putting really well, and that's kind of a good little um combination. But like 2 days, maybe 3 days before that, the feel was kind of going away, and I was struggling a little bit with my golf swing. So um going into that was, it was a little bit difficult. But first day was a little bit windy. Um these greens that were just diabolical, like how firm, fast, slopey they were. It was really about putting, like, more than anything. Like, um and then we also had the best player in our section, the number one guy in our section, was also in the tournament, and there was only one spot, one qualifying spot for the national. So going to first day, shot 74 two over, kind of grinded it out in the wind, and that put me tied for second, one back, and then yeah, shot a 4 under 68 the next day with 8 birdies, and finished my round off with 3 straight birdies to win. So I ended up winning by 4, but it was a lot closer than the 4 shot lead that it looked like. So um
So what was it like when in the actual tournament, right? The first round, you go into it feeling good at first and then not feeling that great about your swing. What did it actually look like on the day off? Like when you went to the range, you're warming up, um, did it feel good or did you feel like today might be a grind or um did the wind maybe help a little bit with that? Because when it's
well,
super windy, you kind of grind anyways, and it's not
yeah.
a lot about your swing, it's just playing different shots.
Yeah, so it's kind of interesting. I mean, the main thing was swing didn't feel good. I took I took a couple videos on the range that I wouldn't typically do that. Just to kind of see if I could find something. And I didn't really, like, glancing at it, didn't really see anything crazy, but um I I guess the wind sort of helped me because it brought everyone back to me, sort of thing, was like it was hard to make birdies anyways, so if I could find a way to make pars, then I would be fine. I wouldn't be losing too much ground. Um, but I was like 3 over through 7 holes or something like that. So, I wasn't I was so this is kind of a good little topic, because I think, honestly, one of the main reasons why I ended up winning was my ability to stay calm, like, when I'm 3 over through 7. Um, I just told myself, like, to keep plugging away, and, like, eventually I'm gonna come back to playing some good golf. Like, I'm trying to just play into some good golf. And that kinda saved me in regards to, like, it being a 36 hole event where I was like, "Hey, look, dude, you got lots of time. let's just give yourself some opportunities. You're putting well. Like, um, and that's kind of, it's not so much patience, but like accepting where I was at. Like, you could have easily been like, man, I don't know where my golf swing's at. It felt so good 3 days ago. So I kept plugging along, and so I shot three over through 9 holes, and then um, I was one under in the second nine. That kind of played me back into it, and I kind of got a feel for where my game was at. Like, I drove it in a couple spots where it's like a lot of the stuff was like you can't miss on one side of the hole. Like, you miss into those trees, it's almost like auto bogey sort of thing, where there's some room on the right, and it's not very good on the right, but it's like you can, I guess, make a par from there. So it was like
Okay.
maybe thinking about more of like where I was trying to drive it and like where was acceptable, where wasn't. Um, and then I was struggling with the long iron, so just trying to find a place to get it up and down at that point. Um, so yeah, it was kind of like, I'm making it sound bad, but it was kind of a grind that first day. Um, but ultimately, the way I putted it on those greens gave me a lot of confidence going into day two. Being one shot back, we don't really get to play a lot of 2-day events. So it was really fun to be able to deal with like the overnight thoughts of like, I'm one shot back. If I do this tomorrow, sort of thing, like maybe I have a good chance, or, hopefully I win, and like those kind of
Yeah.
thoughts. Um, that was a lot of fun. And there was so many people tied at like two over, and then there was one guy at one over. And I was like, I need to go play well tomorrow to win this thing. And going into that, like, it added some pressure, but then I also used a lot of kind of my mental game to, like, I was very calm. I was very calm. Uh, I've just like had a lot of, like, we talked about my definition of success being important. And like, I just thought like, hey, if I just go and leave it all out there, like if I grind out a 73 and that's not good enough, like then I gotta just go back to the drawing board and figure it out. But I was like, I'm just gonna get everything out of what I got. And um paid off. Like, I was just, what I accepted all the results, like if I go out there and shoot 68 and win, great. If I go out there, shoot 68 and lose, great. Like, um so that was kind of a breaking point for me, I would say, mentally. Um and kind of the fluctuations of the round was something interesting too that gave me a lot of confidence, because I mean, I was pretty much in the lead from the start. Um, and just taking you through like some of the emotional roller coaster behind it. And if you let yourself ride it, like you're gonna get cooked. Like, like, like I get on hole one and I have 6 feet for birdie. So I hit driver three wood into this par five, and I was in no man's land, short sided, downslope, hit a great shot, like 10 out of 10 golf shot to about 6 or 7 feet. And pretty simple putt. And I just smoked this thing right through the break. And I had like 4 feet coming back.
Jesus.
And then I'm like, yeah, I'm going to make bogey on the first hole. And I had like 6 or 7 feet for birdie. Like, so, if I missed that putt, like dealing with those emotions would have been nuts. Like now I'm like screwed this up and the whole thing. And, um, but I was like, okay, like, let's just take care of this. Um, and I even told myself, hey, if you miss this comebacker, it doesn't matter. Like, I told myself like we're just gonna go one shot at a time, and it's just so easy to build up like this 4 footer means that I could win or lose the tournament, which in reality just isn't true. Um, I could easily make 8 birdies on the day like I did and shoot 7 under and wipe the field, even though I bogeyed the first hole, you know? So it was just like little conversations with myself throughout the round. I went and birdied 2 and 3, um, and pretty much knew that I was going to be in the lead after that. Um, Playing with the lead is difficult. Um, finished the finished the 9 at 3 under. Going to the back nine, there's some tough holes, and I think I had a 1 shot lead or a 2 shot lead over a really good player that could shoot really deep on the back nine. Um, and so I just kept plugging along. Made a like the tough part was the greens were so slopey that like you could it was really like when you're nervous, putting on those greens is like really difficult. You could three putt, you could three putt like 4 holes in a row like that. Like like it's nuts. And so I like get up to I'm like I'm 2 under now and I'm on 13, a reachable par five, hit it on into and I three putt from this like really difficult spot. And then there's like he could have made eagle and I'm trying to figure out where I'm at. So I'm yeah. And then I bogeyed 15, so I'm 1 under par. And I was like, well, it's probably I look at it, it's like a 1 shot lead. And I just told myself to keep giving myself looks and play to my strengths and birdie my last three and won by four. So so yeah, that's kind of the roller coaster of emotions I was on.
I mean, it sounds like mentally you were very dialed in. Even though there was a lot of roller coasters and I guess a little bit of a up and down in the scoring, but it also sounds like you handled it really well when you talk about the little conversations you had with yourself and um, saying all the right things to yourself, and then you make two bogeys on the back and you don't birdie the par five, but then going into the last three holes, you're not trying to press or be super aggressive or trying to make something happen. You just said, "Hey, I want to have three looks, or whatever you said. I want to have some looks coming in, and that's the best I can do. If I make the putt, I make the putt. That's great, right?" And you finish with three birdies and win, obviously. So that's great. But yeah, the playing with the lead is super interesting. I feel like pretty much for no reason you get like so it's not even like anxious or nervous. It's just weird. It's like your nervous system knows something's going on and you're like a little bit tight or maybe a little bit I don't know, like you have these weird feelings all of a sudden. No, you're not playing as free as if, you're playing on the Tuesday afternoon with your buddies. And it's crazy how that works. And then if you can handle it, I bet it's a huge confidence booster, you know?
100%. Yeah. Um I would say like the main things that kind of helped me get over that was like not pretending like I wasn't there. Everyone's like, "Oh, don't check the leaderboard, you know, like just focus on what you're trying to do." And I mean, that's just so unrealistic. Like you're kind of running away from that when people tell you that. Like I was more accepting of where I was at. Like the thought came into my mind like when I bogeyed 15 was like don't blow this, like don't like you're in the lead, don't blow it, like And it's like you have to almost be accepting of that. Like, hey, like that thought is putting me on top of the mountain and like I'm on the cliff basically. Like I just have to back myself away from the cliff when I'm in those situations. Like I just tell myself like, "Hey, I'm going to go out and I'm going to play as free as I can and I'm going to play one shot at a time and just try and execute one shot at a time. And if I blow it, then I blow it. Like then I can come away and I can learn something from it." And that's kind of where I was at, like just accepting that whatever the result is, like I'm going to deal with it, but it's not going to be because I get in the way of myself sort of thing, you know?
Yeah, I
Um,
think that's the best headspace you can be in. It's sort of reminds me. I've been reading this book. It's the Confident Mind. I think we
yeah.
got it from Coach one year,
Yeah.
and it said uh, be or the author I guess is talking about himself, and it's I'm in love with trying. Like
Yeah.
it doesn't matter if I win or lose. You kind of accept that you could lose, as you said, or you could win, but you just want to try. You know, and even if
Exactly.
somebody told you, like a genie pops up and he tells you, hey, like you're gonna lose, you have no chance of winning, you still wouldn't give up because you love trying. It's like, oh, I'm gonna try anyways. Maybe you're wrong. I'll win. Because you're um, and I guess in the process, or you're trying to win. You're not thinking about the result necessarily, even though you are at the same time. But it's just that feeling of wanting to try to win or hit a good shot. Does that make
Yeah, no,
sense?
for
I don't know.
sure. That's really well said actually. Like if I go out and try and do everything that I want myself to do under those circumstances, like process wise, that's all we can do. Like what happens if the guy behind me makes 8 birdies in a row coming in? Like I don't have any control on that. Like that's just the thing is like I want to put myself in a position where I can play as freely as I can. And I feel like giving myself space to make mistakes is what it ultimately comes down to. Like, when you're in the lead and or you're in a high pressure situation and you miss like a putt and you feel like that shock goes through you like, "Oh my gosh, I can't believe I missed that." Like, I didn't have that as much as I typically would. It was more
That's
like,
cool.
"Okay, like
That
next
yeah,
shot."
that's
Like,
good.
yeah, so that was kind of the internal feedback that I got of I have a little bit more space to make some mistakes and yeah. So,
You should I guess reflect on how you got there to this headspace, because that's really good, I think, because like you said, a lot of the time you build up this um almost like imaginary pressure, or it's wrapped up in emotions, and like you really want to hit a good shot or make this putt, where most of the time it doesn't really matter. It's like
like, we put more weight into the situation than it's is true, basically,
yeah.
is what's happening.
And sometimes,
We
when
build
it's
this narrative of, like, in certain situations, "Well, if I miss this putt, then I'm gonna be 1 back, and I have no chance," and that's not true. It's like, I might be 1 back, but I got 6 holes left to play. So, it's almost like less of this stay positive than it is, like, don't get negative because
just stay realistic, kind of.
yes, yeah, what is so, like, if I were to write down some things of, like, what I would say, like, what is reality is something that we've has been, like, a common theme. definition of success, which is doing the best I can, like trying my best, basically, or attempting to hit one shot at a time to the best of my ability. Like that would be another thing. And
Acceptance, maybe.
some acceptance for sure, which it kind of goes along with some of this stuff, right? Like definition of success. There's got to be a level of acceptance to give myself some space. So, like, I mean, like, it all comes down to the goal was to give myself space to perform, like, and fail in a sense. But all of this stuff goes back to this book. I got it right in front of me. It's Golf Beneath the Surface by Raymond Pryor, and it's like this. He calls it like the new science of sports psychology. And I've had this book for a while, but I actually worked with a trainer who played at a high level, played for Oklahoma State. I like reached out to him. Liked a lot of the stuff that he uh, was putting out on the internet and social media and stuff. So I reached out. He wrote me a plan, and we would like get on a call like this and just talk golf every once in a while. And he worked with this Raymond Pryor guy personally, and he's like, "You got to read this book and just study what he's doing." And I don't know. I feel like I I feel that this is like one of the best sports psychology books that I've read because it's not fake. It's not like woohoo, where it's like you got to be confident to perform well. You have to feel good to play well. Like the other thing too that I've been doing is like accepting my my inner experience sort of thing. So like feeling like you're feeling shitty or you're feeling like you blew it or whatever it is, like you're feeling all of these things. And instead of like running away from it, I just accept it. Or like feeling like that putt on the first hole, like if I three putt this, like it would almost be a little bit not embarrassing, but deflating and whatnot. And I just accepted that that was like a possibility and what I was feeling, the added pressure was there. Like I just accepted it and moved on sort of thing. Like, it's kind of hard to explain in a sense, but that's kind of
Yeah.
where I'm at.
Um, it is interesting though. I don't know. I have this quote here that sort of relates. It says, um, "Embarrassment is an underexplored emotion," and the context was, when you accept the embarrassment or doing something embarrassing, and you sort of full send it anyways, and you just go for it, and maybe even you embarrass yourself on purpose, or you do something out of the ordinary, and you just accept that's what it is, and people are gonna laugh at you and whatever, right? And if you can get over that hump of having that terrible feeling, and you just accept it, and like all of a sudden it just doesn't matter, But then you you're about to hit a shot, and I don't know, like obviously you want to hit a good shot. And I think sometimes, like I for some reason get way more nervous when I'm playing with maybe a little bit worse players, like just for fun. But they're like expecting me to like play really good and like hit long drives always in the fairway and then make all these putts and shoot like 7 under. And I'm like way more nervous playing with them, at least at the beginning, than playing a tournament. And I think if you just kind of, like you said, accept whatever can happen and also accept your inner uh
Experience.
state of
Yeah.
being experience, then, all of a sudden, it's just like, it doesn't matter,
Well,
you know?
you're back to the reality of it. Like, you're
Yeah,
back to, like, "Hey, I'm gonna try and make this 4-footer." Like like, it's a 4-footer, that's what it
yeah,
is, like, and, like, you go through this inner experience, like, "Oh my gosh, like, if I miss this pot, like, it means I'm, you know, gonna fail and I'm gonna blow it and the whole thing," and it's not the reality of it. Like, once you get it out in the air of, like, I feel like so many people, they try and run from that embarrassment feeling, and that's where that, like, fight or flight comes in, where it's like, "Hey, I might feel embarrassed, but there's really nothing to feel embarrassed about." Like, great players, 3 putt from 7 feet every once in a while, just happens, right? Like,
yeah,
and it's only 1 hole, like, but you need to give yourself some space to attack that putt freely, or else your chances of making it a problem later become a factor, sort of thing.
yeah,
So,
and
yeah.
there are situations where, well, let's see what you think about it, right? But I thought of when Leo was on here last episode, and he was talking about how him and his player all of a sudden were in contention in Spain trying to win the tournament, and how that potential win would be basically life changing for him, right? It would mean making a lot of money, sort of being a little bit more financially secure, having his card for the next 2 years, maybe moving up in the race to Dubai standings to, can give himself a chance to get a PGA Tour card. And maybe for some players, like, I don't know, let's say he would have a putt to win on the last hole for all of this, right? And what I'm trying to say is, like, if you see Scotty where he's tied for the lead every week, basically, or most of the time, and then, you know, he just missed the short putt at the last tournament where he lost to Victor Hovland, and um, obviously it hurts, and it's tough, but at the same time, he's the best player in the world, and he knows he's gonna have more opportunities. But when you're a player that kind of is coming in, and this is such a life changing moment, it's like, and again, when it's, for example, the first hole, and you blow a putt from 7 feet, 5 feet by, then I think it's still very much unreasonable to think that this next putt is so important. But when
If
it's
you're
the
on the
last
last
hole and you
hole.
have a 5 footer to win to change your life, then I think it actually, the reality actually is that this putt is, like, really important. You know?
Yeah, and I think, like, people run from that. It is very important, that putt, 100%. But if you look at the big picture, it's not. I mean, it's almost a win-win situation. You're in the last group, and you got a putt to win. If you miss it, I mean, who says you can't go out the next week and win, you know? Like, there's nothing saying that. And maybe this is what you need to vault yourself into, you know, being able to perform under that pressure. So it's like there is absolutely, like, going to be pressure. It's not like these guys are just, I mean, we like talk about Alex Fitzpatrick. He's winning with his brother, and he's got like a 2 foot, like 2.5 footer on the last hole, and he calls in his brother for a read. you know? Like, he's shitting bricks, like, that's just normal stuff. But then, you have to go back to the reality, like, his brother is like, "Dude, it's 2.5 feet. It's got, like, no break in it. Just hit it in. Just putt like putt." You know? And it's almost like having those conversations with yourself that is what gets you over the hump to deal with those kind of things, you know? So,
Yeah, yeah, makes sense.
yeah, that's
It's
kind of
also interesting to watch how, um, you know, like let's continue with this example of Matt and Alex Fitzpatrick, where obviously Alex is playing for so much, right? He's gonna get his tour card. Um, I'm assuming they probably have some money now. Like, Matt is probably able to help his brother out a little bit, or maybe I don't know, whatever. But um, he really wants to win. Whereas for Matt, it's almost like, I'm playing this fun, like, not scramble, fun team tournament with my brother. Like, it's a great time. Obviously, he wants to win as well, but it's not as important, I guess. And he can see it for what it is, right? It's like, hey, it's just 2 feet. Just make the putt. Let's go.
knock it in. Yeah. Um, yeah, like, I think that kinda leads to, like, a perfect example of the best players. I mean, the best players still feel that, even the guys on the PGA Tour are fighting every week over these kind of thoughts. Like, it's quite normal for that to happen. And I think, like, going back to, like, the definition of success, you have to almost accept the fact that I could miss this putt and it could be not great for my career, but it's not going to stop me from just executing freely and finding out what happens. So I think, like, the acceptance and the definition of success were a huge piece in getting myself to perform well under the pressure and with the lead, you know? Um,
Is there something you would do differently looking back at the tournament? Not necessarily, from the mental
Playing
perspective,
standpoint,
but yeah, even any sort of
with
things
what
you
I
would want to
had
change.
that day, that was the best I could do, like, mentally. Like, that's why I think it's so much confidence coming from that was really from a definition of success standpoint. I really put everything out there that I could. Uh, like, like a three putt on 13 that cost me. I was really struggling with my long irons that day. Like, the rest of the game felt pretty good, and the wedges felt pretty good, and I was missing the driver in the right spots and stuff. But the long irons were tough. I couldn't really figure that out. So from, like, my standpoint of this, kind of leads into post tournament. So you have this flash of success. It's quite easy to get confident from it and forget what got you there, sort of thing. Because, or even what you need to improve on. Because it wasn't perfect. Like, I think I found out, like, my swing is probably not in the greatest spot. Um, and I, like, looked at some of the videos that I took, like, pre-tournament and stuff, and kind of assessed where I was at there, and, like, hey, I still need to continue to improve the long irons. And even, like, some of this, there was this, like, feeling like I was gonna miss left, all week. Like I was gonna hit a double cross. Like it was just this feeling over the ball. And so I kind of tried to like think about that a little bit of like, okay, where's that coming from? Um, so yeah, I think like um and then so yeah, I'm flipping through Instagram after the Scottish or whatever it is. And Sean Foley, who's we both love Sean Foley, does a post of Tom Kim, who he started working with, and Michael Thorbjornsen, and talked about how success and failure are both like imposters, meaning like they both could tear you down, sort of thing. Because they take you back from like what the reality of it is. Like winning this tournament was great, and there was a lot of like hints or clues that like, hey, I'm on the right track. But this is not like the end all be all. Like I won this tournament, my life changes, or and you know, it goes back to like why we play the game and whatnot. Like we're just trying to keep getting better. Like just want to see how good I can get. And like it's very difficult to leave your expectations aside when you go and play next. And like I played on Monday and I didn't hit it very good. And I shot like one over and really grinded it out. And really, you get done and you're like, really should have won. Like I just made a ton of stupid bogeys and like, but it's this expectation of I should be winning every tournament now. I should, you know, like that's so easy to get caught up in, you know. Well, I
Yeah,
think
it's
people didn't do a great job of like just trying to execute one shot at a time. Like that was the key of what got me over the hump and like why I won. And even the biggest key, I didn't quite execute freely to to my the best of my ability, sort of thing. So
yeah, I think it's so important to know why you play in the first place, and especially in these moments, whether it's winning or maybe a complete failure, right? Where those are the hardest to kind of bounce back from. Um, Obviously, winning is great, and if that is your why, then I don't know.
you're
If
well, you're
your
gonna
goal is to win,
you're
then
gonna
you're
ride the
done.
roller
Like you,
coaster your entire career. Like, yeah. Like, and there's people
but
like that. But
yeah,
yeah,
and obviously everybody wants to win, right? Um, but I think the most successful people are just playing for different reasons, almost. And maybe at some point they were trying to just win and have that, but it's just this like either they just want to compete, they just love competing so much. You hear that all the time, right? I don't really know exactly what it means. Like I think everybody loves to compete, but uh,
from like a
but like
sustainability standpoint, though, like if you go out and you're just like living or dying by if you win or not, like you're gonna have a whirlwind of a like you only win. The thing is in golf, you only win like what? I mean, at best, what did Tiger win like 20% of the time at best in the
I
heyday of
think
his
so.
career?
And that's Tiger, right? Like
It's one in
if
five.
you're,
Yeah,
I think Rory's win rate is like 5%. That's Rory. So if you're
yeah,
Tom Kim is probably like under 1% win rate. So you don't win much. You're playing a different sport if you just want to win.
exactly, exactly. And like, I think this is a good time to talk about this. Of like, we watched the Justin Rose documentary, which I love Justin Rose. he's the man. Every time I watch something from him, I wanna root for him for the rest of my life. I'm like, he might be
I
my
know.
favorite player in golf. Like, he's just true class, just an absolute professional, and leaves no stone unturned. He's the best, right? But there's this common theme with people who have reached world number 1, and it always seems like they question their why, because they get there and they don't feel like they've accomplished everything they've ever wanted to accomplish, you know? Like, they feel like, "This is it," sort of thing. Like, "This is not the sense of fulfillment that I thought I'd get from being world number 1." And I almost feel like the people that reach that height and they do a reflection of where they're at, they end up playing some of the best golf of their life. Like, because they switch why they play, and I just feel like they go forever versus people who sometimes who reach there, they almost self-destruct because they're just like doing it for I have to meet this standard and I'm world number 1 now. Like, I got to do this and this, and the whole world's watching. And yeah, it's really interesting. Whereas
It
I
is
think
interesting.
Scotty Scheffler, when he got to world number 1, he has already felt that sense of why I do this is not for the wins. He talks about when I win, nothing changes because I'm just going to go to the next week and try and play the best golf I can. And I'm going to go home to Meredith and my children. I'm the same person, you know, which as a viewer stinks. I want to see Tiger Woods fist pump and the whole thing. And that's kind of the problem with us, right? Like, we wanna see the guy who just, like, leaves it all out there, and, like, his whole life depends on it. Like, that's fun to watch, but it's not sustainable at all. You see the crashes
Yeah.
and burns from the guys that do that, you know?
Yeah, it's, I don't know. I think Scotty has just such a different perspective than most. I think that's why he's able to be at the top for especially in the modern game for this long. It's pretty, um, tough to do, you know?
So hard.
And
So difficult.
I I I think in the press conference last year at the Open, he actually brought it up. It was the famous where he was like, "Oh, like, what's the point? You know, why am I trying so hard? Why do I want to win this tournament so much?" And he's just, kind of questioning, um, the whole thing. It was pretty interesting to listen to it. And then this year, he talked about the why again, and I just remember that he actually did say sort of what his why was, and it was pretty much, they're asking him if he's playing for the titles and for the place in history and his legacy, and
What it
he
would
just
mean to
said,
you if you won and what it would mean to you if
yeah,
yeah,
and he said, he loves competing so much, and he loves that feeling of how you can't eat in the morning because you're so, amped up and nervous and excited, and um just this feeling of being at the tournament in contention trying to win something you're working your whole life for. And he said, when he's done playing golf, that's going to be pretty hard to recreate because it's just, such an unknown. Like, you don't know what's going to happen. Whereas, if you have your job or whatever, your days are pretty much the same. You go to work and
come back,
nothing exciting is
dinner.
happening for the most part.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was cool to, I don't know. At the same time, it's just hard to believe that they don't wanna win. Like, like, it's
Well,
gotta be like I'm not saying they don't wanna win, I'm just saying,
yeah.
they talk about the other stuff, why they're playing so much, but, I don't know. Like, I would wanna win. Like, it's so cool to win.
Yeah, I think like they want to win, and I think a lot of them know that, but it's almost like they are trying to think of like why they would want to win. What does winning get you? Like it gets you a trophy, it gets you recognition, right? Which I think a lot of people will
Yeah.
do it for the idea of like recognition, you know, which is a very slippery slope. Like that's the worst, I think. So like I just they want to win, but they know that there's more important stuff in life. And then they also discuss like why do they want to win? And I think it's like more of because it shows that the work I've been putting in is making me like I'm on this sense of mastery and improvement, which I think is where a lot of these guys want to go. Like what it would mean if I lost? Scotty Scheffler, right? Like if I lose this tournament or if I don't ever win again, like my whole goal is to try and keep improving and win golf tournaments, but I'm just trying to keep improving and do the best I can. And it comes back to like definition of success, right? They're kind of related in like why you play the game and what your goal is, sort of.
Yeah. You're just looking for your purpose, you know?
Yeah, yeah. And like going back to like some of the Justin Rose stuff, I think Justin Rose like is the epitome of like high performance in that regards. Like why he plays with such class and like purpose. He's got like no quit in him whatsoever. Like I feel like every time he'll like throw up a number like 78 every once in a while, like in the first round, right? And then he comes back with like a 65. And I'm like, what the like there's just he's like relentless, you know? Like
Yeah.
and looking at like I think the reason why he went through if he didn't have that kind of failure at the start of his career, like I think he missed what 17 straight cuts or something like that. Like
Yeah, I mean, he almost won the Open when he was
which I didn't even know to
a
be
kid.
honest.
Yeah.
I didn't even think about it. Like I thought, oh, he probably played good as an AM, but he finished like top 5. He almost won. Like
I think he was 2nd. I could be
or
wrong, but I
yeah,
think he was 2nd.
which is nuts. So
And then, turned pro, missed, like, all these cuts in a row, uh, but, then he wins and just
they
takes
win.
off.
And
Yeah.
like it was kind of interesting of like him talking about his dad and how like his dad was going through cancer and some of the stuff like Justin was working on mentally. His dad started applying in his like battle of cancer. And I think like overall for him, the that provided like the sense of purpose for him to go out there and like it doesn't matter if I win or lose, but I'm just going to go out there and like battle it out like my dad is, basically, which is pretty crazy. And like you think about that's like probably a moment in his life that has totally transformed him into the player he is, even though he's or the person he is as well, even though it was like some of the worst, probably worst times of his life, adversity wise, you know?
Yeah, I mean, usually, obviously, you don't want to go through these things, but usually tough, tough, difficult things. If you go through them, they usually, make you better, I guess, in a sense, or make you grow would be a better way to phrase it.
For sure.
And obviously, hopefully, it's not your family members dealing with cancer, but um, even like doing something very difficult, uh, like choosing to do it, right? Like you I don't know. I remember
Yeah.
we talked about the Navy SEALs in like one of the first episodes, right? They basically trying to drown them in the pool for months, right? And then obviously it's horrible, but then whoever comes out of it, they're just like a different person, you know?
100%. And they're just constantly throwing them into those situations where they can learn something about themselves,
Yeah.
which going back to why you want to win so bad is the reason. I think it's partially because of that. Like you get to learn things about yourself that you didn't, you get to do things that you didn't know you were capable of, or you didn't like, you get to do things that will change your perspective on life and stuff like that, you know? Uh, you get, I mean, and no one, like, there's only one winner in golf, you know? To be the person that wins is very difficult. And that's why we want to win so bad, right? If they awarded, let's say there's 50 players in a tournament and they award like 49 winners, like, I wouldn't even show up and play it. Like, you know?
Imagine you're the one who doesn't win. It's
Yeah,
number 50.
it would just be an absolute survival thing. Like, you'd just be out there, like, trying not to lose and yeah, so
Uh, yeah, it's interesting. And then, you win or you do something difficult, you get through it, and all of a sudden your sort of vision of the world or like you grow so much and all of a sudden you have these different possibilities or um you see things that you before didn't see
exactly.
and your perspective just widens and all of a sudden you think you can do um more and more, so I think huh, I think winning obviously makes you be able to win more. And I don't know. Like
I
even
think
your
that
example with the tournament now, you probably didn't have your A game, you grinded it out the first day, and you just found a way to win.
mhm,
And now you're like, okay, like I can win with this type of performance, all right? And it kind of opens a new door where you're like, oh, like I didn't know I can shoot 4 under playing not my best or whatever. Like
right,
um
yeah, 100%. I didn't even know I made 8 birdies till after the round. Like, I almost birdied half my holes, like,
yeah.
which is crazy. Like, I didn't even know, and it comes back to, like, I don't think that winning helps you win again, but I think it helps you with the tools of being able to win. You get used to the like you're not surprised when these thoughts come up of like I'm trying to win again and I blow one 4 feet by. You're not really surprised by it. You have the tools to kind of deal with it and go from there, sort of thing. If that makes sense. Like I don't think winning is so freaking hard. Like I don't think it just gives you that extra little bit of competence and confidence to get over the hump when you have a chance to win again because you have those like past successes, you know?
Well, yeah, yeah. What do you think about this? Um, you know how people usually say that they don't learn anything from winning, but they learn way more from losing? I want to throw in the opposite perspective with uh like if you think about Tiger, who won the most in golf probably. Uh he basically like there's the stories from his childhood where his dad wouldn't let him play maybe like a higher age group, and even though he was really good, right? He was just in his age group winning every event he played since like, 6 years old. I remember this interview where they asked him like what his best year was, and obviously like, one of the interviews he said 2000 and how he played good professionally, but one of them he kind of jokingly said like 1984 or whatever when he was like 11 and he won like 67 tournaments that summer just playing like, kids golf. Um but he just constantly kept winning and winning and winning, and I think he just learned so much from that and how to win and what makes him win and that he can get it done numerous ways, right? And I don't know. What do you think about it? Like, because you agree that usually people say, you learn the most from losing,
Yeah.
right?
For
Like,
failures. Yeah. I mean, I think it's not correct. I think you learn from everything. And I think there might be some failures that could teach you a lot. And I think there's some successes that could teach you a lot. And like you said, I think learning to win is a skill. And only way to get good at a skill is to be able to constantly have the opportunity to improve. And if you're never in that situation, winning is going to be quite difficult. Like when you get the chance, you're not going to be as good at getting the job done as someone who's constantly in that situation. So I think it's like about giving yourself the opportunities and learning from every moment that you're in. Because I think, like Sean Foley says, success and failure are just imposters and they're almost an illusion, right? Because theoretically, nothing really changes when you win. Like if you are out there playing golf, let's just say you're by yourself, okay,
okay.
and then you get done with your round, and all of a sudden there's like 50,000 people there, and they're like, "Congrats, you won this tournament!" Like
What is this scenario?
this scenario, like it's totally wild, right? But let's just say that happened, right? Your life doesn't change because the result. You won, you lost, like your life doesn't change because of the trophy that they hand you. It's because of the situation that you're in and the mental conflicts that you present yourself with, the inner conflict that ultimately you get over those, that's what makes you learn and get better. If if does that make sense? That was
Yeah, like,
wild.
yeah. I
It
mean, it kinda the example was wild. I didn't really I
is a good
don't know what you're
example. It was a great example. I'm gonna say that, leave that out there, but it was a little wild. It's on the wild side for sure.
um, yeah, it, comes back again to this pursuit of growth instead of the pursuit of winning.
Victory or winning, yeah.
Yeah, yeah, I guess, it's a cool topic. Could
It
talk
is.
about this
It's
for
nice
hours.
because there's always a, like, push and pull behind that. Like, you look at Justin Rose, he's got a combination of both of them. Like, of course he wants to win. He's got that empty trophy case up there where he wants to put the claret jug, and that's part of the reason why he does it. He keeps getting up, he's trying to win, he wants to win that tournament. Like, there's no doubt behind that. But then he's also, like, very process oriented, wants to, um, like, he's got these cool projects or whatever it is, which I loved. I think that was awesome.
Mhm.
Um, and the projects of, like, he got project 1, which is to reach world number 1, and he's, like, trying to structure his practice and build this project into, like, success essentially. But he's having fun, like, in building what he needs to do and whatnot, seems like. And then he's got project 300 where he says he wants to consistently carry it 300 yards. And I'd be curious to know what other projects he's got going on. Uh,
Yeah, now that you said it, I it's just a combination, of it. It's not one or the other. I think you just have both. Like
exactly.
like in everything. He has his project 1, so that's his kind of a main goal to reach world number 1, and then he dissects that goal into, "All right, what do I need to do to reach world number 1?" And then another project comes up that's the 300, right? I need to carry 300 to be able to, get closer to the hole, have more, have shorter clubs into the green, get closer to the hole, and score better. And then I think he was talking about how he needs to improve his putting by point 0.4 uh,
Per round. Per round. Yeah.
strokes gained, right?
Yeah.
So then he does that, and then I assume he then takes those smaller goals and he goes, "All right, so what do I need to do to carry the ball 300 yards?" And then he's doing the exercises, putting some weight on, like muscle wise, getting stronger. Um, really, he was talking a lot about the like hinge motion that he was focused on. I don't know if it's like a his weakness or something, but obviously it's very important in the golf swing.
Yeah.
The extension and everything. But then he has that, and then from there he's like, all right, what's going to be my daily practice schedule that I can follow that's going to lead me to this, right? And all of a sudden, you just have your daily schedule that you follow, and you don't really even think about the main goal that you set out to do.
Right. Right.
Yeah,
Yeah. And,
I
like,
think that's a good way to kind of look at it.
his wife talked about, like, she's like, Justin works in, like, bite-sized chunks. Like, he's just trying to, like, focus on these little things, and in return, he's going to be very successful, sort of thing. Um, but yeah, the seasonal diet stuff was pretty sick.
That's
Um,
crazy,
but yeah, like, I thought it was really cool just when he reached world number 1 and, like, how his perspective changed. Like, it was this big goal that he wanted to reach for a while, and he thought like he would get so much fulfillment from it, but he really was in. I think he said it was like some of the most lost times of his life or something like that, which is crazy to even think. And he had
It
to
is
like
crazy.
switch where he
And
was
he
going.
kind of dropped off too. He started playing a little bit worse. I think he had like 2, maybe even 3 years where, like, he was nowhere to be seen really.
Yeah, he had to qualify for the Open in years
Yeah,
past, which is
yeah,
crazy. But yeah, um,
yeah, they all go through it, they have their low moments and high moments and everything in between as everyone else. It's just
as everyone else.
like we said
Yep.
last time, you put them on a pedestal and they're just not. It's just like people like everyone
Yeah,
else.
they're
They're
going
just
through the
a little
same
more
stuff.
skilled at something than
Yeah,
other people, right? But
100%.
yeah.
I'm kinda interested to see who you who you rooting for in this Open? Do you got any?
Um, I don't know. Is somebody trying to get the Grand Slam or no? Because Jordan is missing the US Open, right?
PGA. I don't think anyone's.
Or PGA. Nobody's
I don't
going
think
for the Grand Slam, right? That'd
I
be
don't think
cool.
so.
I don't know.
Yeah,
Maybe one of the guys that are, live close by. I think Tommy Fleetwood lives or used to live like 5 minutes from there,
Fleetwood
and
would
I
be
love
really
Tommy
cool.
Fleetwood.
Yeah.
Um, I think Matt Fitzpatrick is from there as well. Then so is Alex Fitzpatrick, obviously.
I think
I don't know.
I think Fleetwood would be really cool. I think Justin Rose would be really cool that we've been talking.
Yes, I mean, yeah, obviously Justin Rose.
Yeah. Um, man, I'm cheering for all the European guys. I don't know how that's going, but,
There's nothing
that's
wrong
who
with
I
that.
want to win, those 2 guys. Maybe I'll throw a
Tommy
little.
and Justin Rose.
Yeah,
I like that. I like that.
one of those guys I want to win.
Yeah.
But
I
it'll be
wonder.
interesting to see. There's some. I think there was some like Tommy Fleetwood videos out there, like in press conferences, talking about his. They asked him like if his life would be a failure, basically, without a major championship and that whole thing. He's like, yeah, like obviously I want to win, and we work so hard. I just want to win one of these. But he goes, I don't really think like that, which goes back to what we were talking about. So hopefully he can get over the hump and get it done.
Yeah, I mean, now that he's won the tour championship, I think I don't know. I don't know if it helped him to become more
I
of
think
a
the Ryder
winner,
Cups
but
helped him. The Ryder Cups
yeah,
helped him quite a bit. Being in under that light, he even won. He won the one in France. I don't know if you remember that. He didn't do much to
yeah, he,
win.
he was the last one, right? Yeah,
He was the guy who, like,
he beat Ricky Fowler, right?
yeah,
And
and Ricky gave him,
that's
like,
actually a
3
sick.
footer.
That was that drivable par four over the water, and
Yeah,
he just like striped the driver on the green.
yeah,
That was pretty cool in that moment.
yeah. It was cool. Anyways, that's all I think
You
that's all we
Roma,
got. I think that's all we got. So this is,
you wrap it up.
I think so. I think so. We're hour 15. No one's gonna wanna listen to us, you know,
Yap,
yap for an
just
hour
yapping about.
15, but I don't really give a shit either way. You can if you get to the end here, congrats. Thanks for listening.
Thank you.
You made it. Your life's changed.
Well, we'll do some cheering for you. Hold on.
Yeah. So congrats to
All right.
our one listener for showing up and getting to the end
Thanks,
here.
mom.
Yeah. Exactly. Exactly. All right, this wraps up. I think episode number 6 of the Get Peak podcast. I think next we're gonna have another guest on. Undecided who we're having on, but we got some options, and we're pretty excited to keep this rolling. I hope people are listening. I hope people are getting something out of this as much as we are, right? But thanks for listening. Peace out.
All right. See you, man.
See ya.